new tax preparers, right? That's a real double-edged sword because you know, it's like, let's say, for example, that you're already really busy, which all of you guys are, right? You already have a lot of client demand, you have a lot of, you know, and then you bring somebody new in, they don't have any idea what they're doing, right? So you kind of start, you know, from experience, right, is you start, if the person's not trained to some kind of level or have some kind of a training plan in place, you're going to immediately start losing money because they, in addition to what you're paying the person, the new tax preparer, and they're not generating any revenue, you're taking a lot of your time where you could be charging $300, $500 an hour. So you start immediately losing money. So then when you're, could you tell us this happened to me before? So then you start seeing the person, and then they walk in the door, and they're like, here comes this new person. I'm about to lose another $1,000. Then the relationship starts getting kind of weird. You're not sure where you really stand, right? And then there's the whole idea in the tax game, once you train somebody to be an expert level, they basically can go do it. They have other options, right? So it's like, will they stay? Am I just training my competition? There's a lot of things involved with it, right?
Yeah.
So, but there's still a great opportunity because we wouldn't be here if somebody didn't do that for us. None of us would be here, right?
Right.
So how do we train new tax preparers, new tax professionals in the best way? And I think I'd like to see, like, what have you guys seen work well for training new tax preparers? If you had to just identify one thing to start us off.
So you give them a plan, you know, and you assign, what I used to do was, because I had like 120 tax practitioners, so I would assign a buddy, we call it a buddy, assign a buddy for that person to help them, like be their mentor. Because you need really a mentor when you're brand new. You don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that, you don't know how to call the IRS, you know, stuff like that. And just a mentor for 1 year. And the ones that fail usually get out anyway. The ones that succeed, they become even better. And sometimes you lose them, you know, sometimes you don't. But
at the start, you would assign somebody that they're the mentor. Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of people call, you know, the people that call us, they're looking for a mentor. They don't know where to go to find a mentor. I get maybe one call a week or so and say, hey, do you guys have a mentor program or, you know, somebody to help me? I said, what do you need help with? Well, I don't know what to do because I just got my 60 hours done, you know, where do I go next? And so mentors is very, and even at our, the presentation we went to a couple of years ago, they talked about mentors. And it was your buddy, not the other guy, but
my other buddy?
Your other buddy, yeah.
So many.
He's got all kinds of buddies, but they talked about mentors, and that's very important.
Well, you're friends with everyone.
Why do you guys think you're making me sweat over here? Weird. The thing when I hear about that, assigning a mentor to 120 people, I don't know if it's the small business person in me or whatever, but I just think expensive.
Well, no, not all 120. Just one person out of the 120 becomes a mentor. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, but it's an assigned mentor, and
right. They can go to that person for any questions, you know, any whatever difficulties.
What if that person, right? Like in our scenario within the office, it's like. It's almost like let's say I said, you're going to be this person's mentor, right? It's like in our current setup, it's kind of difficult because that's basically I'm telling you that you're going to lose money. A little bit, right?
Right.
Kind of. Like,
yeah,
you're a nice person.
Yeah. I see it because
so
I have,
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to spend a lot of time with this person, you know, like they'll ask, well, how do I call the IRS? That's a minute, right? So you would answer that.
But when you're explaining, I can see what he's referring to now. It's like when you're explaining something to someone.
You're not hanging out together.
An hour, and it's like
they're taking away your money. Yeah, I understand, especially you three. You know.
You're explaining to someone how to do something.
Yeah,
and
like
they
I'm willing to
didn't get
bet.
it, but-
Yeah, I'm willing to bet you she was your mentor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she answered all your questions. So there you go.
So that's why I think that helped a lot to me.
Yeah.
Like just having.
And that's why you are who you are today,
Yeah, I mean-
because of her.
Well,
But she
I don't
gave-
know about that.
Give her a raise.
She don't give out the time to Cynthia.
Everybody's their own person.
Yeah. Ingrid.
I think it would help with like obviously she gave me the data
Guidance, yeah.
and just inputting the data entry, and then like at the end of the day when she had time, like I had to block her and her make an appointment for myself in her calendar, and then just be like, okay, these are the returns I work with you on. I want to go over it with you and kind of understand them.
Yeah, but you saw the results. This past year, you doubled, right?
Right.
Partly because due to her.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I
So it pays off.
So,
it pays off.
Yeah.
Yes.
so I think what from not doing a good job on training new people, but also like I recognize like, not to pat myself on the back, but I've done a pretty awesome job on training some people as well. I mean, I remember when I hired you in the video, you guys didn't know anything.
No, we didn't.
You know, so I barely knew anything as well, so it's kind of like
The blind leading the blind.
And he's like, it's
Sure,
it's not
no, wait,
together.
no.
It's like,
It worked out fine.
we're gonna figure it out.
But I think let's say we have a new person that, like, I'd like to get at least one new part-time person if we can support the business for this upcoming tax season, right? Like ideally, whether we do that or not, depends, right? But to use the automated resource initially, right? Because your time investment is so valuable, like that you want to conserve that into, like it's almost like you don't want to put that time in unless the person's willing to put the time in. So like put them on the automated course and see like, are you doing it? Right? Some people are better at doing self-paced courses than others. Some people hate doing self-paced courses, right? But if they're really willing to put in something that would justify being mentored, then we need to verify that. And we need to put them onto the automated system that it's like, here, go ahead and do this, right? And conserving your time, but then, and I think you do a great job of this, Cynthia, is that by investing your own time in the person, it's way better than any online course, right? But it's really the combination of those two things that lets somebody get up to speed, and investing your personal time in the person. But some people just aren't a good fit for the tax business, right? And you kind of know it gut level usually.
Yeah, you get to see like right away.
Right. So don't you think kind of letting the person pursue other opportunities if you kind of sense that?
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember my dad was like, he's the nicest guy, he's always like whatever. And like I had made like a bad hire one time, and he just like walked in one day and just fired the person like on the spot. I was like, Dad, I thought you were such a nice guy. Like he could have like, he got his potential, like whatever. It's just like that's not good. Like,
Did he deserve it?
It was like fired that day. Well, it's just who knows what people deserve? It's just like I'm gonna free you up. That's a complex question. Philosophy.
Let me make it simpler here. What did he do?
His service was weak.
Okay, for the client, they complained about him?
The service is not engaging the client on a level of that he wants to have at his business. So it's not a personal. It's not like he's a terrible person or whatever, but it's also like, hey, like, Andy, I don't need to come along on your science project of changing this person, because I already know like what I want the vibe in my business to be, and this isn't it. So like, just take off. Like you're done. You're fired. My son said you're hired. I actually say you're fired. So, but I'm going to let you go pursue other opportunities. So, and then thirdly, I think like accentuating and encouraging positive aspects when the person's early in the game, right? That is like, because you could say, you're so nervous. Like your boss is watching you do something. It's kind of nerve-wracking, just like, even just thinking about it is. So accentuating what's positive about that person, what's unique. And I like the part about setting out an actual plan though. Like I remember when I moved actually out here, I was like, you know what, we gotta get Ingrid like a plan for like, because otherwise I'm like, you're gonna be out in a miserable time. That's just my thought process. That was probably your thought process too. Right? Because if you're just by yourself trying to do all the work, it's not very fun.
No, not at all.